Welcome everybody. In this really short episode, I just want to talk a little bit about the COVID-19 tracing apps and specifically about their battery usage because people are concerned and more of these apps are being released, and I think there are many concerns around them. I will talk more about the privacy considerations in another video, but in this one I just want to talk about the battery usage. Specifically, I will talk about battery usage for those apps that are based on the Apple and Google proximity notification or proximity exposure API, as these are all using the same technical foundation on your phone, and it's relatively easy to figure out how much battery they might use. So before we look into this specifically, I just want to very briefly explain how these apps work. And I have two longer videos that go into more details how contact tracing works in general. And one is specifically about the Apple and Google model for contact tracing. So check those out if you're interested in the details. When it comes to battery life, what we really want to look at is just how does it work on the phone itself. So when you start installing these on your phone, you start with your phone, you install the app, and what happens when you install the app on the phone is actually that the app itself doesn't do much. So maybe most people don't know that, but these contact tracing apps based on the Apple Google model, really they don't do much. Mostly what they do is they use something that is then built into the phone itself, which is the reason why you have to update your phone in order to use those contact tracing apps. So in the case of iPhones, you have to update to iOS, at least to version 13.5. And then what happens is that the contact tracing app works with the updated version of your phone and does its main work. And that's the reason why battery usage works a little bit special. So what happens is that the contact tracing app basically just tells your phone, start enabling contact tracing information exchange. So what it does is, on the one hand, it sends out notification about 4 to 5 each second, where it just says, hey, I'm here. And it starts listening for those notifications from others who also use the app so that you can figure out whether you have been in proximity to them. All of this happens just based on your phone. The contact tracing app really doesn't do anything. So this means that the communication between the phone itself, the operating system on the phone, and the contact tracing app more or less never really does any work. And the contact tracing app really only becomes active when you enable or disable contact tracing, or when you report yourself as infected, which I hope you will not do. But that's the reason why when you look at battery usage, the app itself actually doesn't use any battery, so to speak, because it just sits there. It doesn't do the work. So then when you look at your phone and you want to figure out how much battery you're actually using, what you have to do, and I will show that to you for an iPhone, is you have to go into the settings. And then in the settings, you can find battery. And then when you go to battery, don't look for the app, but instead look for COVID-19 contact tracing. And when you look for this, you will find the percentage. And as you can see in my example, the percentage is at 4% over the last 10 days. And that number, of course, will be different for different people. One reason is that it actually may use different amounts of energy on your phone based on your battery capacity and so forth. But more importantly, it also will be based on how much you use your phone. So if you never use your phone for anything, that number will be higher because mostly your battery will be used for sending out and listening to those Bluetooth messages. If you use your phone a lot, then there's many other things that go on your phone which use up battery. So your battery life or your charging cycle goes down, right? You have to charge more often. and percentage-wise, the tracking app will use less energy because you use up more energy for other stuff. So that being said, as you can see, the number of my phone is at 4%. I've watched that over the last around 2 weeks when I installed the Swiss contact tracing app. That's the one I've been using. And that number always has been around 2 to 4% for me. So that's at least a number that you can work with. I think that's acceptable from my point of view. I hope that me using the contact tracing app actually does contribute a tiny bit to better management of COVID-19, in that case in Switzerland. So what I would like to do is really encourage everybody to install the app, to enable tracking, and make sure that whenever there is something where new outbreaks have to be traced, that it will become a little bit easier because more and more people are using those contact tracing apps. So that was it. All I wanted to do was really just talk a little bit about battery usage, how using the app might affect you. I think those few percent of reduced battery capacity on your phone really are not such a big impact. So please install the app, start using it, and I think it's a good idea to contribute to better COVID-19 management in that way. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye.